guys, Eon Pulse here again. I'm launching a new series today called Let's Talk About, where we talk about games. This isn't really a review show, it's more of a sit-down conversation type of video, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Our first talk about is going to be about Dragon Age Inquisition, the third entry in the Dragon Age franchise, and to me, a strong contender with Dragon Age Origins, the best in the franchise. It takes all the good things from Origins and all the good things from 2, and gets rid of all the bad. Let's start off with the story, and it's all about this guy, Corypheus. He's the bad guy, he's the big antagonist, and he's the one you, the character, have to stop. But let's start at the beginning, the title screen to be exact. Here you can see Templars and mages walking side by side to the Temple of Sacred Ashes. They're going to the Conclave, a meeting designed by the Chantry to bring peace to the mages and Templars, who are at odds and at war ever since the events at the Kirkwall Circle. Loading the menu options and hitting new game truly starts off the game a little bit differently than most games, with a bang. This will take you into character creation, where you can import your character based on the choices you made in Dragon Age Keep, the website which lets you remake all your choices from Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2, since Dragon Age Inquisition is on next-gen consoles. You have the choices of 4 races, human, elf, dwarf, and Kunari, and then the several classes, 2 rogues, 2 warriors, and a mage. Then you can select your difficulty, casual, nightmare, hard, or normal. I went with nightmare. Without going into too much detail about the first mission, your character becomes one of the founding members of the new Inquisition, created to stop this new and overwhelming force. Most of your quests and actions as Inquisitor take place here at the war table. You really feel like a commander in an army at this war table. You can tell your advisors what missions you want them to run, and they'll tell you how long it takes. Even when you're not playing, your work is being done. Choosing between Orlais and Ferelden, your character will have the option of many quests. Main quests, like this one, take power. Power is accumulated by doing quests, completing requisitions, and closing fade rifts. But even the Inquisitor can't go it alone. Before each outing, you'll have a choice between several companions represented by each of these cards. These cards are a pretty cool thing. As your relationship with each character changes, so does the card that represents them. Throughout the story, you will journey into moonlit deserts. Rich, verdant jungles. Rainy, storm-torn coasts, and much more in your quest to stop the evil that is Corypheus. And throughout the story, you'll be treated to cutscenes like these.
These are but remnants. They will not keep us from the Well of Sorrows.
Well of Sorrows?
Be honored. Witness death at the hands of a new god.
cannot be.
Cross the bridge, now!
Moving on to gameplay, we'll talk about combat, quests, and other features in the game. Every quest begins at the world map. Here, you can view multiple icons which represent each location, and within each of those locations are several camps, quests, and additional storylines to explore, as well as a multitude of collectibles, such as shards, asteriums, and other hidden goodies. Accessing your journal will show your current quests as well as your collectibles for each location. The tracking works pretty well, unless you encounter a rare bug like I have, which it doesn't count all 10 high dragon battles, so you don't get your achievement. Hopefully BioWare patches that. On top of managing collectibles, you also have to manage the inventories of not only your character, but your companions as well. You have a lot of variety here. You can give them equipment that specializes in their skills, or you can give them a more general set of equipment for everyday situations. Every weapon has its use, every item has its use, every accessory can make the difference in a battle. Moving over to skills, Dragon Age Inquisition offers a huge amount of variety for character customization. Your character, the Inquisitor, has his main skills for his class, as well as 3 other potential sub-skills, depending on which class you are and which trainer you choose to. On top of that, every character has their own subclass and their own class-specific skills. The only real complaint I have about this is in terms of skills, you can only assign 8 on your hotbar. This isn't really a problem on PC since you can have more than that, but for consoles, it gets in the way once you hit higher levels. Plus, as the Inquisitor, you can have up to 2 focus abilities, as well as managing all the other focus abilities for each of your companions. This can cause a lot of confusion and a lot of chaos in the battlefield, but that doesn't make it a bad thing. It's an epic experience when you have 4 focus abilities going off at once. Speaking of combat, I've heard it be described as clunky, but I really don't think that's the case. A more appropriate word is weighty. Every hit feels like it has impact, and every change you make to your weapons, such as runes and grips, really makes a difference in the battlefield. That, combined with the Frostbite 3 engine's beautiful graphics and bright colors, makes combat an immersive and enjoyable experience. It never really gets old. Another neat feature is Veilfire. They appear in elven ruins and can only be lit by magic. These green flames illuminate hidden runes on the wall. It really makes you feel like you're exploring an ancient civilization lost in time. And when you find those really powerful runes, it leads to genuine excitement. In keeping with BioWare tradition, your relationship with each of your companions matters. You can interact with them in casual walking by conversations, or in a more branching, cinematic style conversation, such as this one.
Why did you do it? I warned you not to.
Solus.
You gave yourself into the service of an ancient elven god.
What does that mean exactly?
You are Mythal's creature now. Everything you do, whether you know it or not, will be for her. You have given up a part of yourself.
I have not become Mythal's slave.
Not yet. But if you remove the layer of nostalgia from stories of the elven gods, you might see the danger. They were arrogant and fickle. They warred amongst themselves. They had feuds, vendettas. And you are bound to one of them now. I suppose it is better you have the power than Corypheus. Which leads to the next logical question. What will you do with the power of the well once Corypheus is dead?
This war proved that we can't go back to the way things were. I'll try to help this world move forward.
You would risk everything you have in the hope that the future is better. What if it isn't? What if you wake up to find the future you shaped is worse than what was?
I'll take a breath, see where things went wrong, and then try again.
Just like that.
If we don't keep trying, we'll never get it right.
You're right. Thank you.
For what?
You have not been what I expected, Inquisitor. You have impressed me. You have offered hope. That if one keeps trying, even if the consequences are grave, that someday things will be better. Forgive my melancholy. Corypheus has cost us much. The Temple of Mythal did not deserve such a fate. The orb he carries, and its stolen power, that at least we may still recover. With luck. Some of the past may yet survive.
Thank you, Solus. We couldn't have done this without you.
One of my personal favorite things in Dragon Age Inquisition is passing judgment. Sitting at the throne of the Inquisitor will allow you to pass judgment on the wrongdoers against the Inquisition. Sometimes it's something simple. Someone stole a sheep. Sometimes it's something more complicated. Someone turned all the Grey Wardens against the Inquisition. But every crime has its punishment. Sometimes they're light, sometimes they're even funny, and sometimes they're brutal.
I can't say I'm not one of them.
Judging him will affect as many as his crimes. I won't take it lightly.
The Red Lyrium will steal your vengeance. You know what it does. Corypheus only delayed my corruption.
Are you still loyal to that thing? He poisoned the Order, used them to kill thousands.
Templars have always been used. How many were left to rot like I was, after the Chantry burned away their minds? Piss on it. I followed him, so Templars could at least die at their best. Same lie as the Chantry. The Prophet just isn't as pretty.
I'm looking for a reason to be merciful, but you're making it difficult.
Did I ask for mercy? I know what I did. I know none of you can understand why.
You were always weak, and your leadership proves it.
Every one of those Templars would have suffered until nothing was left. And then be forced to kill and die. I gave them hope. Just like the Chantry. Just like you. I'm weak, and you're a savior. Do what you want. I'm done talking.
Samson, you can still be of use to good people. What you know is less important than what you are. My Arcanist will study your resistance to Red Lyrium.
Do as you will, Inquisitor. Your kind always does.
Lastly in gameplay, I have a bit of a nitpick. Mounts, while they are cool and fun to collect, can tend to be a little bit useless. The large maps are filled with resources that you'll need, especially on Nightmare. You'll actually spend most of your time walking, not riding around. Moving on to the presentation. The Frostbite 3 engine is powerful. It delivers a beautiful experience, and the music composed by BioWare is, as always, top-notch. It really affects your emotions. You never know when it'll come in sometimes. You just be walking around minding your own business in the green jungle, and suddenly a beautiful sonnet changes the entire mood of your adventure. As I mentioned before, some conversations are presented in a more cinematic way. This really delivers a heartfelt experience for characters you really care about. The way the conversations are delivered and forced upon you in some situations can lead to some difficult choices. Not all choices are easy. Sometimes there's only two options, neither of which is preferable. And sometimes you can just have a comfortable, heartfelt conversation with your romance interest or your best friend over a pint of beer.
There is not another man I would be more proud to fight beside. Not long ago, this was impossible to imagine. You, the man I love, victory close at hand. The time has come to consider what will come next.
I don't care what's next, as long as we're together.
And if I am named Divine,
then you're divine.
it hasn't happened yet.
In conclusion, I must say that I enjoyed Dragon Age Inquisition. After 100 hours of gameplay, nothing ever really felt boring for me. True, sometimes walking around in the wilderness gets a little bit dull, but it all adds up to something. One tiny advantage, one extra quest. It's all it really takes for you to enjoy your gameplay experience. Albeit, there are a few complaints. The engine loads its layers a little slowly, so sometimes you walk around without sound, and some of the features are really unnecessary. But for an RPG, it does exactly what it should. I think it's earned its Game of the Year title. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.